Hi boys and girls, and welcome back to term 3, and we are continuing with our interactive learning. So I have made a PowerPoint presentation for our first week of English. So we're going to be starting a new topic. Our topic for every subject, including IPC, is Into the Light. So you guys will be doing things to do with that topic in IPC, and I also thought it would be good if we used that theme in English as well. So I found a storybook called Can't You Sleep, Baby Bear? And that is what our English topic is going to be on for the first 3 weeks of this term. So I thought I would make this voiceover and this video just to better explain the tasks for you guys and also for the grown-ups at home. So let's get started. The story is about a little bear, baby bear, who is afraid of the dark, and the drawings in the book kind of remind me of Whatever Next, the story that we did a few terms ago. But I put a lovely YouTube video for you guys to watch, and it has animations and the story is read and it's nice and clear. Just in case you don't have the book at home, because I don't have the book with me either. So if you watch the YouTube video, it's really clear. You should be able to hear the story. You can pause it, you can look at it again. You can actually slow down YouTube videos if they're talking too quickly in the settings at the bottom. But I think it's a nice pace, so you guys should enjoy it. So for your first lesson, I just want you to listen to the story and enjoy it, enjoy the pictures, and then once you've finished, there are some questions I want you to think about. So I've written them here on this slide, but I'll read them out for you as well, just in case you don't have a grown-up to read them for you, so you can just listen to me. So, questions. What characters are in the story? What are their names? Can you tell me what the story is about? Could you tell the story again in your own words? And what is the problem in the book, in the story? What problem is the little baby bear having? And why is he having that problem? And that's what I want you guys to think about just for today's lesson. So that is the first lesson. I just want you to get familiar with the story. If we were in school, I would be referring to my writing journey we have. And we have the first part of the writing journey, which is all about sharing and working together. So we're doing that as best as we can without being together. So I just want you to get familiar with the story, share your ideas with whoever you have at home, and it will really help you for the next few lessons. Let's see, lesson 2. So for you guys to become more familiar with the book, I want you to listen to it again and focus on what is happening at the beginning of the story, the middle of the story, and the end of the story. So once you've listened to it again and you're even more familiar with it, there is a worksheet that I want you guys to complete, and it's on the next slide. Let me see if I can click on and then go back. Yeah, this is the worksheet here. So there's 3 sections, beginning, middle, end, and I want you guys just to draw me a little picture for what happens at the beginning of the story, what happens in the middle, what happens at the end. And you can also write the title of the book at the top, which is Can't You Sleep, Baby Bear? Now, if you guys don't have a printer or if you don't have access to printing things out, that's absolutely fine. You guys can just get a sheet of paper and, oh no, I can't go back. You guys can just get a sheet of paper and draw 3 boxes for me and kind of create your own worksheet. So I want you to make sure your drawings are nice and colourful, and if you finish that, you can also add labels. So that's the second lesson. Then to move on to lesson 3, I want you to have a look at this part of the story. So this picture that I got is from 3 minutes and 5 seconds into the story. So you can either just use this picture, or if you want to go back and listen to the story again, you can. And this part of the story is at about 3 minutes. So I want you to have a look at this picture. Baby Bear is closing his eyes. I want you to think how he's feeling. Why do you think he's feeling like that? What is making him feel like that? I don't want to give you all the answers, but today's activity is I want you guys to draw a picture of Baby Bear at this part of the story, and I want you to think of some adjectives for how he is feeling. Okay, so some of you might say he's feeling sad. I'm trying to imagine what you would say if we were here together. So you might say that he's feeling sad, but instead of just writing one word, sad, I'm giving you a challenge, and I want you to think, what other words could you use that mean the same as sad, but you could use better words rather than just using sad, because I think we can all use better vocabulary. So I want you to think of lots of words to describe how he's feeling. He might be feeling sad, he might be feeling scared. I don't want to give you the answers, But I want you to draw a picture of Baby Bear, and then around the outside of him you can use some adjectives, some wow words to describe how he is feeling. Okay, lesson 4. So our final piece of writing for this topic, so the purple part of our writing journey, whenever we get there, is going to be a letter. So you guys are already familiar with writing letters. Remember we wrote one to Aiden the alien, so we know what we need to include in a letter. So this time you guys should be able to remember the features, but we'll work on that together. And the one thing that I want you guys to do in this letter is to use persuasive language. Now, what persuasive language means, you just have to convince Baby Bear of something. And the thing I want you to persuade him about is that he shouldn't be afraid of the dark. So I want you guys to really explain in your letter and give him reasons so that he really believes that he shouldn't be afraid of the dark. And that's kind of persuasive language, and that's what we're going to be working on with our final piece of writing. So before we can begin writing, I want us to analyse. Remember what analyse means? To look closely. So we're going to look closely at a letter, and we're going to pick apart the features, and this will help us with writing our checklist and with beginning to write our own letter. So today's activity, I want you guys to actually label a letter. So I've written one for you, but the one that I'm going to take you through to begin with is our letter from the first term whenever we learnt about Aiden the alien. So you might recognise this letter. Here we go. It says at the beginning, at the top here, it says Spaceship 7, Planet Mars, Outer Space, and the date was the 27th of October 2019. The letter then says, Dear Ben, it was so nice to meet you on the moon. I hope you got back to planet Earth safely. I'm writing to you to tell you what life is like where I come from. The weather here is very cold, so I have to wrap up. What is the weather like where you're from? I live in a red spaceship with my mum and dad. It is big and I have my own bedroom. Where do you live? In my spare time, I like to read and play video games. Do you like video games? What is your favourite? I hope you can write back to me soon. From your friend, Aiden the alien. So, let me see, can I move my, I can't move my screen, but over here it says date, okay? So what I'm going to do is I will label this letter, the features of this letter with you guys, and then I'm going to give you your own letter, and I want you to label that on your own. That will be the activity for today's lesson, okay? So, first one, full stops. We know full stops come at the end of a sentence. I hope you guys all said that. Full stop, tiny dot. So I'm going to find one, and then I'm going to draw a line to it here. So I'm going to find one that's close so that I don't have to draw a big line. Here we go. There's one there at the end of that sentence. So full stops. Next one, finger spaces. I know that we need to use finger spaces between each word to make sure it's not squashed up. So there's lots of finger spaces here. I'm going to choose here. There's a finger space, and I'm going to draw an arrow. Next one, capital letters. We know capital letters come at the beginning of sentences and for certain things like names and countries and proper nouns. So for example, Aiden the alien, that's a capital letter. So is this because it's the beginning of a sentence. I'm going to draw a line to these, and I need to use capital letters. The next one is questions, okay? And we know it's a question because it has a question mark at the end of it. So I'm going to look for a question mark here. Here we go. What is your favourite? He's asking a question, what's your favourite video game? There's the question mark. I'm going to draw a line. The next part, from. So that means who the letter is written by, from. So we know the letter is from Aiden the alien. Here we go. So you can see, boys and girls, it is a little bit messy. That's okay because I'm labelling the features. Try to do it as neatly as you can, but it is quite tricky on a computer. Then the next feature is dear. So this is who you're writing the letter to. This letter is being written to the boy Ben. Okay, so dear's up at the top here. Ooh, it's going to look a bit messy. So there's the feature. And then over here underneath my video, so I'm covering it up, but we have got the date and the address. So the date is here, the 27th of October. Oop, I'm going to draw that down to here. And then the last one is address. It's underneath the video. So we know the address is up here in the top right hand corner. So there we go. Looks a little bit messy, but they are the features of this letter. So what I want you guys to do for today's activity is label this letter. So I wrote it for you. I'll read it out for you, and then I want you to find those different features. I want you to find dear, Dear, from, address, date, question marks. Can you find capital letters, finger spaces and full stops? And the other part that I want you to have a look at is I'm trying to use persuasive language. I'm trying to convince you guys about something in this letter. I want you to think about what I'm trying to convince you of. And then whenever it's our turn to write the letter to Baby Bear, we're going to convince him that there's no reason to be afraid of the dark and it's okay. So I'll read the letter for you and then I want you to find those different things. Miss Campbell, 25M, Harborden Park, Belfast, Northern Ireland. That's my address, or my family's address back in Ireland where I'm from. And the date, 15th, I just told you, 15th of April 2020. It says, Dear children in 1A, how are you all? I'm writing to you because I miss you all so much. It has been very strange not seeing your lovely faces every day. I am so excited for when we will go back to school. One thing that has really helped me stay happy is doing a little bit of exercise every day. I find that it makes me work harder and I can concentrate on my work better too. I have been doing some workouts with my family in Ireland over the phone. You guys should try a bit of exercise too. I really hope to see you all again soon. From Miss Campbell. So I want you guys to find the different features and label them just like I did with the previous letter. That's your challenge for today. Good luck.